We have a jam-packed day. I'll make sure it's not too crazy. We want to understand what mission control is, get in, see the system, and then get out, right? It's a lovely Thursday morning for me where I'm at. I don't know where you guys are at, but I hope you woke up on the right side of the bed, had some good, nice, cool sleep, and you're just ready to get active, right? So let's go and get started. I hope you all can see my screen, and it says I'm sharing my screen, so we should be good to go. Mission Control, your project management command center solution demonstration. So, real quick intro. My name is Ike Emedosi. Yes, that picture was taken quite a while ago when I was just a young buck. You can tell by the hair that I am not the same man. And my beard got a little bit more full, which is great. But I'm the account executive here. I have been with this Salesforce ecosystem for quite some time now, and I'm newer to the Africa team. But something to note, if you understand Salesforce, you already have three legs up on the Africa Mission Control uh, build and platform because we are native to the Salesforce platform, something you will be hearing me saying a lot, right? So enough about me. Let's talk more about Mission Control. So Mission Control was built by our lovely CEO, Colin Johnson, and his best mate, Chris. And they were working together internally as a Salesforce consultant partner, trying to get some project management in-house that would help them, with all the implementations and all the business that they had at the time. But they said, this product is too good. Let's go ahead and launch it out to the overall world. So we started with timesheets and holidays in the Gantt chart in 2012. But then as we grew, as we've affected more countries and affected more people, we've accepted feature requests, did some major upgrades and all that good stuff. And from 2012 all the way to 2023, we've added on over 12,000 users, affected over 500,000 projects, 25 different countries, and 12,000 total users. And we're constantly growing and we're constantly changing the game, right? So we're always listening. And something to note here, we have world-class support. Our support is rated 4.8 for a reason. If you need us, we're going to be there for you and we're going to make sure we're tending to you the way you need to. So something that we don't need to miss there is how great our support is. So we've been on the Salesforce App Exchange since 2012. So it's kind of the same thing I showed you in the last slide, but listen, we are affecting some really big names in a very big way. And we're constantly saying that, hey, we're scaling and growing with you. So if there's at any time you want to evolve, just unlock a feature, add support, how to utilize a feature. We're there for you, and we're going to make sure you understand what's going on. Those are the countries we've affected. Those are the companies we've affected. And to our left, those are some good numbers, right? So in terms of licensing, because we understand that because we are native to Salesforce, you will need a Salesforce license on top of a Mission Control license, but don't fret, you don't need the most expensive Salesforce license. These are the ones that we are compatible with, and we are compatible with a lot. So no worries there. When we talk about licensing, again, because Mission Control is built and lives on top of the Salesforce platform, you will need a Salesforce license and a Mission Control license. But as your account exec, we always find you the best deal. So no worry there. And like I mentioned about 4 times already, is we are native on Salesforce. So the customization is there. We're talking about custom fields, page layouts, business logic, and those flows and automation. A lot of times when we talk to people and talk to companies, they're siloed on Excel sheets or utilizing some different company. I'm not going to say no names. I'm not that kind of guy, but it's still not connected to the Salesforce ecosystem. It's still living in different places, and it's not giving that succinctness that we need and require in this day and age, 2023. We want to get in, understand what we need to know, and then get out, because we don't have time trying to digest data. If data is not in real time, if data is not clean, it's not good data, and it is a waste of time. Point blank period, right? So the benefits of us being on Salesforce natively is reports and dashboards accessible via the Salesforce mobile app. So that's something very key and very important to some individuals. We're on the go with you. Just like Salesforce is on the go, we're living on top of Salesforce, so we're on the go. So if you want to log time, complete some actions on your phone, do so, right? No integration required. We can install and set up in minutes. So I'm telling you, again, that is the perks of us being on Salesforce, but also us being very customizable. So that way you don't need to integrate, you don't need an implementation plan. If you understand Salesforce, you're able to get into Mission Control and do what you need to do, because we have a familiar user interface and we work on Salesforce Classic and Lightning experience. Enough of that intro. Let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to be covering in this demonstration. All right. So two main personas I want to focus on: me, Ike Emedosi, that looks just like me in avatar state. If we're going to create a project, view a project, complete an action, all those good things. Something to note within mission control, there's many different ways to get to the same result. And that's very important and very key when we talk about different personalities within a company and the adoption of that platform, because we understand different personalities go different routes to, log time, complete an action, maybe log a risk. There's different ways different people want to do that. But within mission control, we're allowing those different ways so that way it leads to one result. So that way your data is always true, real time, and something you can take advantage of. So that's very important there. Communicate with team members via chatter. If you like Slack, Salesforce integrates with Slack, we integrate with Slack. Outlook, whatever case may be, what kind of messaging system, as long as it integrates within Salesforce, it can integrate within Mission Control. Why? Because we're native on the Salesforce platform. So whatever can integrate within Salesforce, we're able to integrate with it as well. We're going to see the project timeline via the Gantt chart, and we're going to send an invoice. So for Alana, she's going to be the managerial head. She's going to look at things in a more executive way, in a very hierarchy way, just giving a project overview of things, see the team's workload, because she wants to understand, hey, where are our resources going? What's the capacity like? Things of that nature. And of course, we're going to want to visualize that team data, reports, and dashboards. And there's going to be a third persona if we have time. I don't like to put it on the slide because sometimes we don't have time, but the third persona would be a team member. And the advantage of that is just to showcase how customizable Mission Control is for a team member, especially maybe you want to scale down some views, scale down some settings, scale some just the overall platform down for a specific team members. You absolutely can. And that's how we're going to show, and I can showcase that to you within this presentation. Again, should we have time? So before we jump in the system, a couple things to note. One, any questions, ask it in the chat. Just ask it. And I'll try to get to it as soon as possible or after the meeting or after the call. Two, highly customizable. There's maybe some things that you don't really utilize or don't want to see within the screen or in the platform. Completely fine, remove it. That's it. Remove it. Hide it from view. And once it becomes like a need, a necessity, then you can just add it back on. No worries. Within the Mission Control, you're getting all our settings. So if you want to remove it for about 6 months and then unlock it another 6 months, absolutely can. Three, whatever integrates within the Salesforce platform can integrate within Mission Control. Why? Because we're built natively. And four, we have an extensive filtering system, just so you know. All right. So first things first, let's go ahead and hop into our Mission Control. And looky there, we're starting off with a bang. I'm getting the rolling screen of death. So let me go ahead and we're gonna have to wait this out apparently. Or, yep, there we go. Oh no, that didn't work. Lovely. Let's go ahead and try to do something else here then. I was gonna open up a whole new batch. See, it's not how you start, it's about how you finish, am I right? So with that being said, let's go ahead and hop into the Mission Control console. As you can see, Mission Control looks exactly like the Salesforce platform. Why? Because we're built natively on top of it, just unlocking the project management information and data. A quick little run through of what's going on here is we have 4 pads, a launch pad. So whenever we want to create anything new, like a new project, a new role, a new skill, we're looking at the launch pad. When we talk about anything that's in progress, we're going to look at some action pads, issues, risks of some things that are currently in progress. Management pad, that's something more for me, Ike Emedosi or Alana Blancard in the managerial team, because they want to get a project overview, maybe a storyboard of things, or understand the role utilization report and how the resources are being utilized. Last but not least, we have a control pad. So our control pad is going to be unlocking more settings within the Mission Control platform, Mission Control environment. So at any point, if you need to access some more information, you absolutely can, or customize some things within the platform, you absolutely can. So something to note right away is that as a manager, I want access to all 4 of these pads, the launch pad, progress management, and control pad. But if you are a team member, maybe you don't want them to have access to all these things. That's completely fine. You can just go ahead and turn these tabs off, the launch pad, management pad, and control pad, specifically for a team member, whereas manager has access to all 4 pads, a team member has access to only one, which will be the progress pad. Okay? So let's go ahead and hop into where things begin, and they begin as an opportunity. One thing to note right away is that within Mission Control, we're able to do a couple of things, especially in the automation side. So on the automation side of things, we can have it to where if this opportunity hits a closed won status, it can automatically generate a project request based off a template that has been defined at the opportunity level. That makes sense? I hope it does because it's pretty easy. Once it hits closed won, we can generate a project automatically. As simple as that. But what I want to go ahead and do, because we're live on a webinar, I want to kind of vet this opportunity out just a little bit more and kind of showcase how this works, right? So within our opportunity and within Salesforce, as you know, we have very customizable features, especially when we talk about some pages. So on this opportunity page, I have customized some of these fields and I've added some fields so that way we have more data and more information for all our opportunities. So I've added a site, a location, a status, where we want to start, customer start date, install start date. All those fields I have just added onto the platform so that way it can now be tied to this opportunity. And again, because we're on the Salesforce platform, because we are Mission Control, we are very, very customizable here. So something I brought up a little bit earlier is a template. So when we talk about a template, these are our standardized actions and milestones that we take for a given opportunity. Right here, I have a website build template, and we're going to look into that just in just a second, which has predefined milestones and actions that usually are the usual steps I take within this opportunity and within this kind of project, this kind of website build project. All right. So let's go ahead and vet this out a little bit more. Say status. Status is not started, but let's say in progress. And location, USA, let's call it Delaware. Because honest to God, who lives in Delaware? No offense if you have family from Delaware. I've never seen it in my life. So frankly. Anyways, we have our project template, our website build template, our project start date, and it's going to be generated based off of this opportunity. So I'll go ahead and generate a project. Hit save. But make sure I'm hitting this closed won status. And look to our right here when we talk about our projects. So right now we're at 0. Let's say this is at closed won status. And boom, just like that, we have a project. So again, it is looking at a template that we have defined, and that template was the website build template. Let's go ahead and dive into that just a second. That's my cat. So right here, we have our predefined template with design, build, and deliver as our milestones and correlated actions here as well. And then we have our placeholder assignments for these roles. So to take a better look at this, actually, let's go ahead and go through our clone project and actually look at our template website build. So as we can see, we can create a project from the opportunity, but we can also simply just clone a project. So when we clone this project, we're going to see the details that are inside of this template. So right here, as you can see, we have our build, our project name, our project name is template website build. But again, if you're cloning a project, you probably rename this somewhere else. So we have somebody that says, can a project be assigned to multiple projects at once? Is it possible to see a roll-up activities for an opportunity that is assigned to multiple projects? Anonymous attendee, it's crazy you're anonymous. It makes you sound like a villain. But can you please specify what you mean by assigning multiple projects at once, or having a project being assigned to multiple projects at once? And while you clear that up, I'll go ahead and move on. So within this template, of course, we have our different billing types: fixed time materials, controlled on milestones, cost rate. I'm doing it based on role and standard, and the project budget 10,000. And then we also have billing cycle, milestone, periodic, retainer, manual, billing frequency, and all of this good stuff, which is great. And also within this specific project that I've built out, I've decided to invoice on milestone completion. So at every time I complete a milestone, it's going to send an invoice saying, hey, this job has been done and it's been completed. Please pay up. And as you can see, we have our different predefined milestones, which is design, and the correlating actions living underneath it. Build milestone, correlating actions underneath it. And as you can see within this specific template, I've decided to For the roles, I put a placeholder project manager. So this is just good practice when we talk about organization, so that we know, hey, we have this project, but we don't necessarily know what project manager is available just yet. I just know I need a project manager here, and then we can reassign the work later when we see the availability and schedule of our resources. All right. So, that's all cool and dandy. Let's go ahead and go to our project that we have. We have our Mission Control webinar website build project. Awesome. So something to note, we can go ahead and jump into our Insights tab. Awesome. So real quickly, something to note, this is our Insights tab. Gives you quick insight, especially as a project owner. My smiling face right there, I'm the project owner. I can really quickly dive into this and understand at a glance what's going on within our project, what needs to be focused on, and what needs some attention. Again, within Mission Control, highly customizable. If this graphs, you don't want some of these graphs, that's completely fine. Remove it. That's all I gotta say, remove it. It's pretty simple once you get to the hang of it, right? So real quickly, I can see a couple of things. So my schedule performance index is looking dandy. It's looking great. It's at one, meaning it's perfect. So it's looking at our schedule performance index, basically what's the actual schedule looking like versus what our estimation was, right? So we're at one, we're green, we're good to go, but our cost performance index is kind of lagging behind at 0.53. We need some assistance there. I see total hours left, and I can see that we have a risk. And as a project owner, I'm glad that my team members are, inputting risk. I don't want to see risk though, so we're gonna have to vet that out. And it looks like we also have an issue as well. So let's go ahead and look at our overview. Real quickly here, we have our graphing system, but also we're seeing how many total hours are scheduled for our milestone and the overall completion status of our milestones here. So something I said earlier is that we're billing on invoice completion or milestone completion. So every time a milestone is completed, I'm going to be sending out an invoice. Just to let you know that I'm true and I'm not a liar. We have no billing events created just yet because we have yet to complete a milestone. And as you can see, I've clicked on these subtabs. So I want to note real quickly that these subtabs are correlating especially specifically to this project. So all these subtabs is everything that has to do with this Mission Control webinar website build project. Okay. So I'll go ahead and look at my design milestone. We're at 85% completion status, and it looks like Lane Beachley is still in progress and has completed only 18 hours of the overall 24 schedule. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and log some time and log it as Lane and say, all right, hours completed, 6% or 6 more hours. And now it's all complete. I'll log that time. Bada bing, bada boom, all of the hours has been completed, 40 out of 40, and 100% completion status, which is lovely. Let's go back to billing. And as you can see, as soon as I completed that milestone, an invoice was raised. Something to note here within the invoices is we're at the draft status now. So as a manager, I want to go in there, confirm things is good and ready to go. And once I confirm that, hey, this billing event or this invoice is good, we've completed all these things. And if I wanted to put some more information in there, we can. All right. And then I'll go ahead and put this as issued. Save. And then what this is going to do is connect to your accounting software. So within Mission Control, we're always going to notate what's going on. Saying, all right, we have an invoice that's been created. Now we're connected to like an accounting suite, a QuickBooks to make the actual transaction happen. And once that actual transaction happens through the accounting suite, QuickBooks, whatever accounting software is integrated within Salesforce Mission Control, once that payment has been paid, it's going to tell Mission Control, hey, it's been paid. And it's going to go ahead and update the status from issued to paid. Shelby Vaughn. Ike, what is your role within Mission Control? Are you on the implementation team? That's flattering. No, the implementation team has so much crazy knowledge. It's outstanding. They're part of our support. I am just a humble account executive / solution engineer, if you'd like to say. But yeah, I'm not a part of the implementation team. So anonymous attendee. So for example, an opportunity in your org may involve several departments each with a separate project manager in charge of their special sub-project that is part of the overall master project. So to that point, I like the way you said that. So short answer, yes. If you have a master project or maybe a master client, you can create a program. So within our program, you can assign multiple different projects attached to that one program. So for example, let's say you have a customer, I don't know, Walmart, and you have multiple different projects going to Walmart. So maybe you have a project in the southeast region of Walmart, southeast region Walmarts, south region Walmarts, north Walmarts. All that is rolling up to the program that is Walmart. So yes, you can have multiple projects assigned to a master project. All right. With that being said, let's go and continue. So right here, we saw that a billing event was created. And of course, it goes from project to milestone to action. But if you want to get even more granular, we can have checklist items. So these checklist items are just going to keep us honest, saying, hey, make sure you've done these 3 things before you can say, hey, you completed this action frame. So what I like to say within checklist items, if you have an action, but you want to make sure it's defined accordingly, create some checklist items for your members, for your team members, so that way they know exactly what they need to do before they log in action as complete. So we're done with this first design milestone, which is great. But now let's look at our build framework or our build milestone. And already it looks like it's on hold for some reason. So I can real quickly see that looking at this, there is an issue. So I'm going to open up this issue. And of course, as a project manager, I got to know everything that's going on with a project. So thank you for my crew members for inputting this information where I can see it. So it looks like we have an issue. Jordy Smith is the owner for this specific build framework action. All right, availability. So it's an availability problem. As you can see, we have a risk. So it's attached to a risk. When a risk becomes so high or it becomes big enough, we can convert it to an issue. So this is what Jordy has done. And he's basically said he has no bandwidth to complete the whole task, needs some assistance. Jordy, you are an honest man. Thank you for being the way you are. So what I'll go ahead and do on my end as a project manager, I understand that Jordy has 24 hours scheduled for this specific build framework task, but he doesn't have the capacity to do this thing. So what I'll go ahead and do on my end, I'll give him some help. So right here, and I want to make sure we saw what I did here. This icon, whenever we see this icon, this is our resource assignment wizard, which is going to let us reassign assignments, kind of view the hours distributing between our resources and their actions, and much, much more. So I know Jordy Smith is a part of our developer team. So quickly, I can just look at our developer team and know that, hey, anybody within this team can handle this action. But if I want to get even more granular, I can even look up certain skills. Like, all right, you're a developer, but do you know how to configure well, right? So I can attach skills, but also attach skill proficiencies. So yes, maybe you're a developer, you're good at developing, but what is your skill proficiency? Are you a 1, meaning you could use some work, or are you a 5, which means you should be taking my job as an implementator? But no, Shelby, I'm not an implementer. I'm implementor. Ooh, that word is killing me today. But I'm gonna look solely on the developer team and hit search. So now it's gonna pull up all the developers and it's gonna let me know, all right, the start date is the 2nd and the end date is the 7th. So who can I call on to help us out here? And real quickly, we're seeing the days of availability for our developer team. And Joel Parkinson, I'm sorry for whoever booked you, but you have 13 hours on a Monday. That's crazy. So whenever we go to that scheduler, maybe we can reassign some things. But it looks like, hey, Jordy, it looks like you do have availability, but I'm going to question you this time around. I'm going to add Kai Lenny as a contributor and take up 8 hours. So now Jordy has some assistance. And if I wanted to, I could simply just click on these things and do a mass contributor, right? But I won't do that because why bog everybody else down when Kai Lenny is capable of handling this himself? So instead of giving him 8, actually, I'm gonna give him 10. And then now I can hit save. So we had a question. Let me see. Make sure this went through. We had a question. Are those assignments, are those skills and proficiencies visible to all users or just the PM? Well, that depends. Do you want it to be? So again, It's up to you how you want to change the viewing distributions within your permission sets of within Salesforce platform or mission control. But for the most part, right now, how I have configured, everybody can see it. But if you want to configure it in a way that they can't see it and you hide those fields from them, you absolutely can. So let me search. Let's get Kyle Lindy back in here. You're not going anywhere, buddy. And let's hit save. Let's see if it's going through. Oh, interesting. Well, we can assume that I've reassigned that work correctly. All right. And then when we talk about contributors, and so that way we can see how it looks, whenever we have a contributor, it's going to have this two-man icon behind it, right? So we have a contributor, Lane Beachley and Ike Emedosi, and we can see how contributors work there as well. But now let's move on to our build framework, and let's go ahead and assume that we have some help with Jordy on this build framework status. But something else that came up a little bit earlier was the fact that we had a risk. And because I saw an issue there, I want to go ahead and do my due diligence and understand the risk and issues involved within this project. So right now we have our risk log here, and we can see that we have a mission control website build project. So it's looking at our build page content action here. So our milestones build action is build page content identified by Kelly. Looks like there's a bug on the component here. So Kelly has informed us that bug on our page content may delay the project. Very high, very high. Huh. That is very unfortunate. So there's a couple ways for me to understand what's been going on with our project here. One, I saw that we had a risk on our insights tab over here. So I wanted to go ahead and move to our insights. But something also is our trackpad here. So our trackpad, again, living underneath our project level. So let's say I'm in my overview and I'm back here again, right? And I'm like, wants to go to our trackpad just to understand the timeline of what's going on within our project. I can quickly open this up from any tab I was on. As you can see, I switch over the tabs. And I can understand there's a bug on our component and our feed here. So looks like we have some information on our feed regarding everything that's been going on with our project. But understanding our timeline here, it looks like we have a bug on component. So again, this trackpad is living everywhere within our project, and it's as a sub tab, it's going to be looking directly at what's going on with our project here. All right, we got a bug on our page component, which is unfortunate. And looks like Kelly actually mentioned me here. So Kelly says, I noticed that there was a bug on our page component. Looks like this caused a real issue within the project. Please review and upgrade to issue if need be. Thanks for letting me know, Kelly. And as a PM, that's all I can say there, man. That's unfortunate, but I'm glad you let me know. I'm glad you told me. So it looks like we do have a risk. And what I'll go ahead and do is I will look at our whiteboard here. Looks like we have that build framework, that one that was on hold because of availability, but I'll go ahead and quickly move this status, build page content, to on hold as well, because we have a new issue here. And I'll go ahead and put in the issue for Kelly bug on component. And I'll go ahead real quickly to relate it to Kelly. And then I want to relate it to that risk that we had, bug on component, so that all the information is always going to be synchronized here. Moving project back. All right, moving project back a couple of days, which is really unfortunate, but at least we understand what's going on here. So we have both of these things are currently on hold. I want you to watch what happens up here, right? So on our overview, we saw that we completed our design milestone, but looking at our build milestone, we have a couple of issues there. And as you can see, we're going to do the due diligence of letting you know what's going on at all times here. And it looks like, all right, we've completed our first milestone, which is on design, or which is 100% complete. But our second milestone is actually on hold because of those two issues that we saw and we raised. So it's on hold, and that's what is done on this path. Created a red path because we say, all right, it is on hold. That's unfortunate, but again, at least we know what's going on, and now this is inputted into our issue log as well. So we had an issue with availability, and then we had an issue on the bug on component. So because we have those two issues attached to that milestone, it's saying, hey, this whole milestone has been on hold because our build page content and build framework is on hold, and they both have issues. But I'll go ahead and check off the availability issue right now because we have reassigned some of that work to our best man, Kai. So again, we're back on our project or back on our whiteboard. And like I mentioned, we can reassign this work and labor to somebody else, to Kai Lenny. And when we look at our roles tab right here, these are all the available roles that we have in our organization. But again, I wanted to focus in on a developer because I understand that anybody with a developer team is able to handle this task. Filter down. So I can go ahead and add Kai Lenny as a contributor if I wanted to, but I'll go ahead and just reassign that work to Kai Lenny. And bada bing, bada boom. I was just looking for a way for me to slip that bada bing, bada boom in there, and I did. So I'm happy about that. We've changed this over from Jordy to Kai Lenny, and instead of being on hold, we're gonna go now and change it to in progress, which is great here. A lot of individuals love the whiteboard when we talk about having to see the status, and as you can see, we have the number of actions that we have assigned, but and then we have the hours remaining on those actions there. So 24 hours, 16 hours, and then of course we have two actions that have been complete, so it's now at a 0. Now I can change the status from priority, action owner, action type. However I want to, I can change the column headings here, but I also want to look at our priority levels. So I want our build page content to be a high priority. I know we're on hold right now, but it is a high priority, as well as our build framework. So anything within that build milestone is going to be a high priority. And what I'm going to say deliver training is going to be a medium priority. I want us to remember these things. Anything that was in that build milestone, the build milestone is going to be a high priority, and then our training is going to be medium priority, and design wireframes is low because we've completed it, right? And again, with image control, something I mentioned a little bit earlier is that we have an extensive filtering system, something that's going to live throughout the whole program. And because this is the subtab of this project, it's pre-filtered on the image control webinar website build project. So if I ever need to filter down on project owner, teams, skills, proficiencies, I can do just that, just fine. All right. So, like I mentioned, we changed some of our statuses here from build framework because we changed the owner. So one is in progress and one is currently on hold. So let's go to one of my favorite things. I'm biased. I'm extremely biased. Is the Gantt chart. So within the Gantt chart, we're going to be able to notate the timeline of things real quickly because we understand the progression of things. So again, it goes from project to milestone to actions. And then a little bit more granular is our checklist items. And as you can see, all these things are currently at 100%. So our milestones has been completed at 100%, which is wonderful. I've also created a custom field here that's going to denote how many hours completed on this milestone, how many hours remaining are on the milestone, and things of that nature. So we can see that we completed overall 40 hours within the project, but we have 55 hours remaining on our project, which is okay. We're almost halfway there. So we understand the design milestone is complete, but our build milestone is currently in progress. And like I mentioned, I've changed some things around to showcase our priority level here. So real quickly, this is red. Our build framework has become red, while our delivered training is in orange. So that means we have a high priority here, whereas our training material is a medium priority. I'll go ahead and do something that we all love, and that's creating dependencies. So as we see, we can create project dependencies from this Gantt chart, move it around because we have a critical path dependency. And now these things have changed. We understand that build page content, that build framework has been pushed back a couple of days, and I actually moved it back a week. So Let me go back. Yeah. So it's been pushed back, let's say a week or two. But for me as a project manager, I want to understand exactly how far away it's been pushed back from our estimation. So if I look at our baseline dates, I can see what we thought originally what it was going to be and what it actually became. And looks like we got pushed back around 1 week. Okay. So we got pushed back around 1 week and we had that critical path dependency. And something to note about the dependency, the action owner of the next action can be notified on the predecessor saying, all right, the predecessor has been completed. This is now your time to shine. So for example, Kelly Slater is going to be notified. All right, Kyle Lenny has finished his task. Kelly Slater, it's your time to rock and roll. All right. So we can have that notification be sent out as always. Something to note within the Gantt chart, by design, we are not saving automatically. We don't want you to come into the here, use the bathroom after you make some changes, come back and everything is now confusing. So we want you to save manually, and then I will not save because I don't want to see these changes. But a couple other things to know within our Gantt chart, you're able to do a lot of things when it comes down to creating a new milestone, even creating a new action from the Gantt chart, but also assigning that work to individuals and reassigning the work as you need to, whenever you need to as well. Okay. And of course, I can edit these actions and then put some more information if I ever need to, log time or chat or somebody, again, within the Gantt chart. And if we need to export it via MS Project, PDF, CSV, or PNG, we absolutely can. Last but not least, within the project, for a specific project, again, subtabs correlating to a specific project, we have a scheduler where we're able to understand quickly the capacity of these individuals, of the resources attached to this project. So I only have 4 resources attached to this project, so I can understand their workload that they have for the project, and also I'll reassign them pretty easily, and then maybe say, all right, this should not take 3 days. This task should only take 1 day. And then I can move it around as I see fit. All right, but what I'll go ahead and do, I'll go ahead and look at the overarching view, and I'll switch my cap from the project manager, which was that specific project, to now the Alana, who's looking at every single thing. Hey guys, I'm talking a lot. I know we got 5 minutes left, but that's not what it's going to be like. It's going to be a little bit more 10 minutes. So if you're able to stay on till 11:50 my time, thank you so much. If you're not able to, I'm sorry to hear that. With that being said, let's keep going. So within our Gantt chart, when we focus on the Gantt chart object, we're pulling up all of our projects, everything that we need to see, and I'm filtering it down to, you know what, I want to see all our projects. So as Alana, I want to come in, see all our projects, understand the progress of them, and real quickly get in and then get out once I see how some of our projects are progressing. And do we have any overdue projects that haven't been complete? Why, yes, that is very, very unfortunate. But like I mentioned, we have multiple projects here for Alana to see real quickly. And even without tapping into it, she can see the progress of these projects done by the dark bar, but also by the numerical progress percentage. Something to note as well, if you would like, you can most definitely create cross-project dependencies. So if you have a client, and like we mentioned earlier, if you have multiple projects attached to one program or one master project, maybe you don't want to start, I don't know, implementation before you start, I don't know, configuration. Maybe it's the same thing, I don't know. But you can have 2 projects assigned to especially one customer, and you want to say, all right, I don't want to go to the second project until we finish this first project. So we're able to create that cross-project dependencies here. And so that's what I'll be doing from the mission control webinar to this Namaru quick start. I'll create that cross project dependency. And then whenever this moves, that moves along with it. So, and then like I mentioned, you can be notified that, hey, it's your time to shine because the preceding task has been completed. So within this project, or within this Gantt chart, we're seeing all the Gantt charts or all the information of all the projects at you in real time. And of course, if you want to create cross-project dependencies, you absolutely can. Second, we almost done with Miss Alana's piece. So as you can see here, now I'm not looking at a specific project. I'm looking at all of our projects, and I can go ahead and filter down on what projects are being attended to or what projects are being handled, and see how much hours is taken for each project by hovering over it. I can see the details real quickly regarding how many hours are remaining and things of that nature. So when we talk about scheduling and we talk about that resourcing, this is where it's going to be done primarily. It's probably going to be your best bet doing it here as well. Two things to note: if we ever want to reassign work, extend the work, we can absolutely do that. And something to note also is these placeholder roles. So whenever you have a placeholder role, you're like, all right, I think this person has availability. Lane Beachley for this 2 weeks is only being utilized 14 hours for these 2 weeks. That's great. She only has 14 hours assigned for these 2 weeks. So that's our schedule allocation again for these 2 weeks. But right here, we're seeing our remaining allocation. We can see that it's 63. It's more than 14. Why? The remaining allocation is also factoring in overdue tasks that this individual may have. So for these 2 weeks, 14 hours is what she has allotted, but she probably has around, I don't know, 49 hours of overdue tasks that she has not done. So that's still going to be accounted to our remaining allocation. All right. So she is a designer, and I have a placeholder designer. I know she has availability for the week. So what I'll go ahead and do is I'll go ahead and assign her work for um for Thursday to Friday. And because it's the weekend, I'll extend it just a little bit so that way she has time to really complete this task. And hovering over it real quickly, we can see that it has 16 hours remaining on this task. And we have now assigned it over from the placeholder designer role to an available designer for this 2-week period. And of course, if I wanted to double click into it, I can understand all the information within actions. You can see that there's a bunch of fields here. If you would like to remove them, you absolutely can. And if I wanted to filter this down to solely focus on my team, so if I wanted to focus solely on Alana's team and Ike's team, I absolutely can. And of course, all of these filters that we saw earlier are just going to be available from the scheduler view. Again, if there's any more questions, please ask, because I am on a roll. I feel like I'm on fire. So, hey, if you want to try to knock me off a peg, and ask some questions, go ahead. I feel free to do that. So, of course, now I'm looking solely on Ike's team and Alana's team, and I can see all of the availability here. And again, if I want to change some things around, elongate some of these tasks, I absolutely can. So this is going to be great from a project management resourcing perspective. So last but not least, for our lovely Alana, we're going to go ahead and look at our dashboard. And then when we look at our dashboard, something that is very important here is that we're within Mission Control, we have some predefined dashboards, predefined metrics. But again, because Mission Control is pulling that project management information out and pulling it to the forefront, you can build a report on it. And if you build a report on something within Salesforce, you can create a what? Dashboard. Thank you. I'm sure somebody said it. I'm sure somebody said it. So again, we're giving the project management information so they can build a report on it, you can create a dashboard from it. So right here, we have some predefined dashboards, and I've seen some clients have some really, really beautiful, colorful, nice dashboards, and I'm very jealous of them, but I'm glad they're able to really utilize our system to the fullest potential, the fact that they're taking advantage of this. So we have some dashboards: hours remaining by role, projects by status, hours remaining by status, actions by status, et cetera, so we can have this information pulled to the forefront. All right, so that covers Ike Emedosi and Alana for the most part. What I want to go ahead and do is I'll go ahead and move back to our Mission Control webinar website build, because we've raised some invoices, and I'll go ahead and say, all right, instead of this being in or on hold, it's currently in progress, because we actually changed that work owner from Jordy to Kai. And as we see, instead of it being red, it is now blue, meaning it is currently now in progress. The milestone is not on hold any longer. And I'll go ahead and do a real quick cheat and just mark the whole milestone as complete. I'll mark it off as complete, save that. Awesome. And then let's go to our billing. So we had one billing event created. Now we have two billing events created, because we have both milestones has been completed, and we are able to create an invoice and issue them as we see fit. So when we look into this billing event and we want to see what does our PDF look like, let's go ahead and look into it. It's highly customizable. So this is going to be very, very bare bones for this specific PDF, But if you want to add your own logo, add some more line items, add a tax field, add some expenses onto the invoice, the material cost, all that good stuff, you can be added to our invoice, and we can go ahead and create a PDF, shoot it out to the individual, wait for that accounting software connection to make that payment. They'll have this information, this PDF on file, and then we'll have that transaction done by the accounting software, and it's going to update in our mission control system saying it's been issued, from issued to paid, and you're good to go. And again, we can customize our invoice as we see fit, but I will go ahead and invoice on that milestone completion there. Pretty nice and simple, right? All right. Last but not least, let's go ahead and look at two more things that I just love to showcase when we talk about, as a PM, maybe some of these actions, maybe some of these tasks you want to have approval set for. You absolutely can. You can make sure that some of these actions, they can be marked as complete from the team member side of things, but you as a project manager, you will not, you want to go ahead and vet it out and approve it first. So Kai and Jordy has some approvals left from the think implementation, the build milestone, build framework action. And I can go ahead and mark this as complete and approve all of this, but I won't. No, because I don't feel like it. Sorry, Kai. Sorry, Kai. I don't feel like it. But of course, that's that's what we can do there when we talk about approvals. But also we can look at a specific calendar and then convert these actions that are on your calendar into a time log. So if you have a Google Calendar, an Outlook calendar, you can sync this to Salesforce. And then once you sync it, it's going to show up on the calendar converter. And instead of just logging time against action, you can go to the calendar converter, look at that task, and log time against it. And it's already going to be pre-configured in terms of the action, the project, and the hours completed, all from the calendar converter. All right, guys, I said 10 minutes. If you want to leave, you can. It's going to hurt my feelings, but you can. I'll go ahead and spend the next 5 to 10 minutes next 3 minutes showcasing what a team member is going to look like. So from the team member side of things, like I mentioned, it's going to just give that scaled down look of mission control. So I'll go ahead and log in to one of my favorite users, and that's going to be Miss Lovely Kelly Slater. So Kelly Slater, we're going to log in as you, and we're going to see what she can view, right? So as a project manager, you saw I had so many tabs and all this great information here, but Kelly's going to be assigned to this lovely, lovely mission control team member app. So what you can do for your team members, you can go ahead and create a little app for them saying, hey, this is the team member app, and this is what you're going to see. So earlier, if you remember, we had so many tabs up here. We had so many. As a project manager, I want to see all of those. But as Kelly Slater, please no, right? So we have scaled down this view very, very much so that we have less options here. So focus on what Kelly needs to see. But like I mentioned earlier, instead of that launch pad, progress pad, control pad, management pad, she's solely focused on this progress pad. So if we jump into a project, this mission control webinar website build project, we can see, all right, we have this information available to us. Again, if you want your team members to see a different page layout than you absolutely can. You can change those things around. But also looking at our sub tabs, we've scaled it down very much here as well. And now Kelly Slater can actually take advantage of what's called a retrospective board. So that's kind of like an opinion board saying, hey, on this project, this is what worked well. This one needs improvement. We can try this next time. And what in the world just happened with this action, right? So especially for Kelly and all the team members, this is very, very, very useful. And I want to make sure they always have access to this so that we are always updating, we're always learning, and we're always uplifting to the next project and being more proactive than reactive. And of course, we want them to have the risk and issue log available at all times. And within this trackpad, like I mentioned, all the team members are going to be staying up to date with what's been going on, the current feed, and all of that good stuff there. So real quickly, wanted to showcase what Kelly will be seeing from her end of things, which is great. So with that being said, if there's no more questions, I'll go ahead and wrap it up, man. Y'all have been great. A little bit quiet though. You didn't even challenge me for real. Maybe I had a good presentation. I don't know, but I'm glad everybody was able to join us. So how we support you? First things first, we're going to do a requirements discovery call. Oh, it's time to use that work. Oh gosh. The only crazy thing, only part about this is if it doesn't work, you look crazy. All right, it worked. So 1 through 4, what we do to support you is, first things first, we run a requirements call, a discovery call, understanding your requirements, your challenges, and where you would like to be and how Mission Control can help you get there. We want to understand what's your business, what your business is, and how we can really affect it. Afterwards, we move on to a tailored solution demonstrations, personalized based on that requirements call, and then we can offer a 14-day free trial. One thing to know with the 14-day free trial, I will ask, me personally, I will ask to have two checkups on you, the first week checkup and the second week checkup. So that way we understand what you're looking to get out of the trial and we can point you right into that right direction. I would hate for you to get in the trial and say, I don't know what I need to do. I don't know what I need to look for. I don't know what success means to me. So I would like to meet with you periodically, maybe twice, maybe even more, so that way we can talk about what success looks like and how we can get you there on the trial. After that, we're going to give you a quick start guide. And should you move on with Mission Control, as many do, we get the 90-day onboarding plan with our lovely support, which is going to be checking up on you about 4 times. We have our implementation guide, implementation packages. Should you want us, we have from bronze all the way to gold and custom, but implementation is not required. And we have a freshly built out learning portal, which is all nice and dandy here. Is there a way to create something akin to a RACI matrix? Can you go ahead and spell that RACI matrix out for us, just in case we have some members and participants that aren't really familiar with RACI? And I could say it, but I want you to say it. So, sorry. Go ahead and fill us up with some more details there, and then I'll go ahead and let you know the answer there. And then, of course, ongoing support. We have our monthly campfires, first-class support, knowledge-based periodic health checks, and just like Salesforce, we offer 3 major releases per year. So that way we're always updating, we're listening to our customers, we're making sure that the great ideas they have, the feature requests that they have, we're going to put it in the funnel and make sure that it's going to become available in the future sometime. So why Mission Control? Native to Salesforce, we work out of the box, no implementation required. And then we have a built-out learning portal, certifications, and our global user support, which I mentioned is top of the line. So the acronym RACI stands for the different responsibility types for checklist items. So responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. So for those that didn't know, this is a good idea. Okay, she just jumped on me. That was my cat. She just jumped on me. So are you able to do that? Absolutely. So what I would say is have those fields attached to the checklist items, right? So I would create some fields, create a pick list value that says for this checklist item or for this action, we're going to have responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed as our possible options, and then attach that to our checklist items or attach it to your task so that way you can categorize those things as such. And once you categorize those things as such and you want to create a matrix or a graph from that, you absolutely can by creating a report and dashboard from it. So is that possible? Yes. Just create a pick list box. Again, responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed as your checklist or as that pick list values. Attach it to a checklist item, task, milestone, whatever the case may be, and then create a dashboard from that. CJ Mitchell, great question. All right. So key impacts. So over 6,000% return on investment, 32% increase attributed profit, overall efficiency close to 50% improvement, and a 10% increase in project volume. Something to note through this presentation, Mission Control does a heck of a lot. And I promise you, I only covered maybe 40%, maybe 30%, if that, honestly. So that to say, when we talk about what you're getting from Mission Control, you're getting a wonderful value in terms of all the features and everything that's accessible to you. If it's not of importance, wow, why do I say it like that? If it's not of importance right now, just remove it from view. If you don't need to see it, don't see it. And when you do need to see it, unlock it, make it viewable. That's it. Easy as that. So we're giving you all of this, and we're not doing like a tier list of, oh, you have to be a beginner, starter, medium, and then Mission Control expert. No, we give you one license, that Mission Control full license, and you have access to all these things. Point blank, right? And then of course, talk to your account executive if you have some needs for those licenses, but not everybody needs all those features. I'm sure the account executive there will work for you aligned to your territory. So earlier, Ken mentioned that we have 4.8 stars, Mission Control is cool, Mission Control is good. I don't want to be a liar. So to show that I'm not a liar, we have our reviews up in front. If you want to look at the App Exchange, please do challenge us. Candidly, challenge us. Go to our support, challenge us. See the response. Ask a question. If you're doing a 14-day free trial and you have a question, you're stuck on something, test out the support. Easy as that. I always say these great things on mission control because I live it every single day and I understand what we can do. But I know my words are just words to you. I would love for you guys to put it into action. Test it out. Point blank, test it out. So we have some nice reviews. Then we also have some great case studies and testimonials. We talk about brands in the research and testing company industry. I mean, they were able to modernize and consolidate all the various tools, which is very important. We've seen a lot of problems with consolidated tools, spreadsheets, and all that good stuff. We don't want that. We want it all in one system. And then we have an integrated solution that provides a single source of truth and just simplify project administration. And these are the features they use: the Gantt chart, project overview, PMO dashboard. And we also have another one with Cardinal Health in the healthcare industry, where they were able to improve project visibility, accountability across the organization, improve reporting and customer-facing materials and communications, and create a standardization across our projects, which makes things so much simpler. Features used: Assignment Wizard, resource management, risk and issues, and PMO dashboard. We're almost there. We're almost there. To the end, we're almost there. So, free 14-day free trial. Everything I said and the challenge I gave to you guys, test it out. Please, Lord, test it out. So we have a 14-day free trial, only minutes to install. You can choose to install it in production or sandbox, and you can even create sample data within Mission Control for testing and the trial. Does it work out of the box? Absolutely. And if you would like a live demo with me or some of my account executive counterparts, go to the inquiries at apprica.com, look it up. And for our support resources, it's there too, apprica.com, Mission Control support, as well as support at apprica.com. Try us, challenge us, and I promise you, you will be impressed. And if you're confused, have any questions, challenge the support, challenge me. You're going to be impressed. So with that being said, it is the top of the hour. I've talked for an hour. If there's any remaining questions, please ask the chat. I will chat you out. If you have an anonymous tag, I'm going to assume you are a Gotham villain, and I'm sorry. Batman's my favorite character, my favorite superhero. So the anonymous attendee gave me like a Riddler vibes. And if you know these individuals, shout out to you. I like you even more. If you don't, you need to watch the Batman trilogy. With that being said, thank you for joining. I will be staying on if there's any other questions, and I'll just watch you guys trickle off. Thank you. All I can say is thank you. So, with that being said, I'll just go ahead and peruse the Mission Control environment just for another 2 minutes because there's a client read-only page that I feel like I would like to show, but it wasn't too important. So if you missed it, that is just fine. If you're still here with me, we're going to see the client read-only page. All right. Bye, everybody. David Brown with a nice job. Hey, I like you, David. You have a great day, man. And viewing resources, is there a way to see a monthly view instead of weekly? Yes, sir. Yes, sir, there is. So let's go ahead and look at the scheduler. And then instead of looking at days, we can look at weeks, which is going to give us a 52-week span. And if you want to look at months, you absolutely can. It's just going to look like it's going to look like a lot, but you can absolutely see months. There we go. Oh, you know what? That doesn't look too shabby. I'm always afraid to show this view because I'm like, oh, it's gonna be too much information. No, not too bad, not too bad. And now it's going to look at the hours of over the month, so 352 hours instead of the 80 we saw for the 2-week period. And that is displaying their monthly commitments. Yeah, this is displaying what they have within that month time frame. So as you can see, let's look at here. Design UI has been this was in September. So let's look at, for example, internal testing in GHX. That starting period, or that's going to be in the month of November. So if I move back to days, that has been out of view. So it's going to show their monthly commitment or the commitments they have within that month. All right. And I'll go ahead and view our client read only page because, oh, let me go ahead and log out as. Any other questions? We have 3 more participants. I know you're not here just to hear my voice. So if you have any questions, let me know. All right, CJ, how much control, if any, is there over designing what a month entails? We have a different general ledger months that are normal than normal calendar months. Okay, so you want to kind of predefine, like, all right, from August 15th to September 12th, that's a month, right? Okay, let's go ahead. So what we can do, we can just look at a time period. And let me see if I've logged out correctly. I should logged out as Kelly, so I should be now. Okay, cool. I'm now Ike Emedosi once again, which is beautiful. So scheduler. So yeah, what you could do, honestly, you can go ahead and just pick out the month if you want to see. So I want to see from October 17th to a certain day. You absolutely can do that. So that might be a good idea there. But if you want to look at a specific month, or whatever you define as a month, I'll have to ask in the back end regarding talk to support if we can do that on the scheduler level. But I know when it comes down to reporting and things of that nature, if you want to go ahead and build that out yourself in a report in a dashboard, you absolutely can. But within the scheduler or within the scheduler, kind of try to predefine months. It might have to be some customization that we talk to support about in our professional services. Keep them coming, CJ. You're becoming a star student right now. I'm going to quickly showcase the client read-only page while we think of some more questions. And if there's no more questions, again, let me know. But I'm here until you don't need me anymore. La di di da, la di di. Oh, let me go ahead and update these fields. All right, Mitch, CJ, he said thank you. Awesome. Looks like we answered all your questions. Let me go ahead and display all these things and hit save so we can see the client read-only page. So client read-only page is going to be a page that, again, is for your end users, your customers, and it's going to be only read-only access. There's no editing, there's no uploading files and things of that nature, but they're able to get real-time information and real-time viewability of what's going on within a specific project. And if you want some of these things to be seen, as you can see, I put some tabs on or select some checkboxes, say, hey, please show this, this, and that. And that's what I'm doing right now is look at our client read-only page, and we can even look at change requests and things of that nature. But within the client read-only page is a great way for your customers to see what they need to see regarding their project in real-time view. And with that being said, CJ, seems like CJ might be gone now. My star student, we have 2 more participants, but I assume that you are good and knowledgeable. Thank you all for joining what we consider our webinar. It's going to be recorded. You will be getting this into your inboxes, and you will be hearing my voice whenever you want to. But with that being said, my name is Ike Emedosi, and let's go to that wonderful slide that was years back. My name is Ike Emedosi. There's my contact. I look forward to talking to you guys. With that being said, hope everyone has a great rest of the day and a better week than they did last week. Deuces.